Hello, everybody, and good morning. My name is Ed Rocha, and I am your coach and the founder of The Morning Goals here in Boston, but virtual for everybody else. I'm super excited that you guys are here with me this morning on our 9:30. I'm a little bit late today, but our live show talking about our differences and maximizing our strengths. So I'm super excited this week because this is something that I talk about a lot with a lot of my clients. So this morning, actually, as I was scrolling through social media, I read something that said that popcorn, the kernels of popcorn, are all cooked in the same pot. They're cooked in the same oil and on the same heat, but they all pop differently. Okay. That was what I woke up to this morning, and that was resonated with me as I was planning to do this with all of you guys, because all of us pop in different ways. So our popcorn and what it looks like, we may be raised the same or raised to think the same, but we're all different, right? So think about siblings. And what I realized as we do things like on social media or in public, we try to follow trends, right? So follow trends because that's what's popular, whether it's wearing a certain type of clothes or a brand or posting things that are similar to other people. Those trends sort of force us to conform in sort of societal norms. Now, as an entrepreneur, my job and your job, for those of you who are small business owners or entrepreneurs or startup founders, your job is not to be the same, right? So your job is to take usually a simple problem and that we all face and think of creative solutions for that problem. Okay. And not conform and try different things and let people think that you're a little bit crazy on this crazy idea that you had. And those are the most successful people out there. Okay. So this morning, let's focus a little bit on sort of why we should enhance or lean in on the things that make us different than other people. One of the things that I am pretty good at is that everybody knows who I am, what I stand for, and how I feel at all times. There's something called code switching, right? So code switching is that when you take me out of this office, my Morning Goals office, and you put me in front of business executives in Manhattan, or you put me in front of yoga instructors in Houston, that I conform or code switch to that audience. Okay, that's called code switching. So I don't code switch. And this is actually one of my differences with a lot of my colleagues. So as many of you know, I graduated from Harvard. I have my master's from BU. I've worked in hedge funds and finance, raising hundreds of millions of dollars for investment firms. I've started 3 companies already. And this is what you get. You get Ed, who's sometimes a little unkempt. You get my smile. You get this black shirt that I sometimes wear. I generally wear solid colored shirts on purpose. And whether you see me at Starbucks or you see me in Manhattan in a corporate boardroom, this is what you get. And that's actually one of my differences. I don't believe in code switching. I don't change my tone of voice when I'm speaking with clients or if I'm speaking with women versus men. We hear this all the time. If you're in an office building and you hear your colleague pick up the phone, chances are they change their tone depending on whether they speak to a man or a woman. And you know that, or they're speaking to somebody they don't want to talk to, and you can hear in their voice. That is called code switching. And so for me, it's very important to be comfortable with my authentic self. And my authentic self is different than other people. And that's actually what attracts people to me, right? People, we have our biases. Due to our experiences, we sort of are prejudiced in our thought process when we experience things or go through things. But ultimately, I say, who are you? What kind of popcorn, back to my meme that I saw earlier today, what kind of popcorn are you? Okay. And people want to know the real you. So we've been doing a lot of work on social media, on Facebook, and the things that generally do better are the things that people want to hear that they don't actually get to hear all the time. So some truths, right? When we're trying to get a little bit deeper, those posts tend to do better. Posts of me doing stuff that I would not share with people. People don't realize that I'm a starving artist. And when I post that, people connect to that because it's different from things that they do. And I post that on my work Instagram and social media to sort of highlight other parts of who I am. But all of those parts of who I am make me the best business person, the best coach, and the best consultant for my business practice at the Morning Goals. And if I didn't share that with you, and I didn't highlight those things with you, and I didn't strive to dig deeper and push myself harder, both as an artist, as a coach, as an entrepreneur, as a podcaster, right, then I would be like everybody else. And I would be following the trends, and I would be following the things that other people think they want to hear, but don't actually want to hear, right? And so, I believe that each and every one of us are unique. And I tell this, I'm a storyteller, I'm an author, and I tell this to everybody, that everybody has a story. So this is a segue and a plug to in a few weeks here at the Morning Goals, we're doing a 5-day challenge, a reflection, a self-reflection, looking at our past, our present, and our future. That's a great opportunity for all of you who are watching or watch this after we post it, to really think about who you are. What are your differences? What makes you unique, right? Your individuality is just as important as your relationships with other people, because again, that's who you are. That is your authentic self. And a lot of us, we start working, we have families and obligations, and we actually forget and lose ourselves. I actually talk to mothers who are looking for life coaches and transitioning back to work, and a common theme is that they have lost themselves as they were forming their family and growing their family, right? And they're looking for themselves. And I'm like, well, you already know who you are and what you want and what makes you happy. It's just been laying dormant, and you sort of put it aside for a while, and we're just going to reactivate that, then enhance it, and then have you do it. And it might be scary, but that truth, that authentic self is important. So what we're doing at the Morning Goals in a few weeks, you guys can go to the website, themorninggoals.com. We're doing a 5-day self-reflection. It's for free. It's an email challenge for 5 days. You'll get a prompt, you'll get a video. And then you will respond to those prompts, and you can share it with us, or you can sort of keep it to yourself. But taking the time to understand why you are different, that being different is okay, and that is what makes you special. And those relationships that you're attracting, we sometimes talk about the law of attraction, is based on sort of you as a person, you as an individual, and you as a unique person. So when I talk a little bit about focusing on yourself and self-reflection, sometimes we think that that's not fun or not exciting or boring, but it's a task that we have to do regularly. And part of what I do at the Morning Goals is I keep you honest, and every month or every 2 months, I want to sort of bring you back to yourself. I had a conversation yesterday or the day before, as I was a guest on a podcast, and the guy said something along the lines of, what makes you the great entrepreneur, or what makes you successful? And I didn't define that, right? So the societal norms that we are in define success generally by money. But being the crazy entrepreneur that I am, I define it on a motto or words that define the things that make me happy. I define success on happiness. And he understood that. And while he probably agrees with me, his traditional form of thinking is success is defined by money. right? And I think that we're seeing in the US and around the world that a lot of people are sort of shifting their thought process of how we think to think differently. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about, as a business coach, examples of how that difference, that thought process enhances our strengths. Imagine that you had a problem, for example, getting a taxi at the airport. Simple problem we've all experienced. If you went to London, you know that taxi drivers are expert drivers of the city, but there's always been a problem being, whether they're rude or getting lost on purpose, things like that. If you go to Paris, you know that at midnight on a Saturday night, you can't find a taxi cab. That is a unique problem that a lot of us out here have experienced, the ordeal of finding a taxi or the journey in a taxi cab. Okay. Now you say, Ed, what the heck are you talking about? This is about maximizing differences as strengths, right? So imagine somebody going to you and saying, hey, I have an idea. What if on the way from your house to the airport, you pick up somebody along the way and they pay you for that? You give them a ride share. Okay. I would have said 10 years ago, that's really stupid. That's really dumb, right? That's our initial reaction to ideas, unique and different ideas, right? Now, Uber and then Lyft are now billion-dollar corporations because we took a simple problem and we had a crazy idea that was simple in nature, and then we blew it up. And we all now have Uber and Lyft and other rideshare apps on our car. Sometimes we think that the simplest ideas don't have a solution because everybody has tried to solve the problem. We've tried to work with taxi unions. We've tried to come up with regulations. But it takes that different person, that person who's sort of leaning in and saying, this is a simple solution, but it is so different that people are going to think it's a crazy idea. Think about that. This is a simple solution to a problem we've all experienced that people are going to think is crazy because it's different. We look at any corporation in the United States, all the big ones, and any founder, Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, all of these big names, Warren Buffett, a lot of times they're solving a very simple problem. In the case of Jeff Bezos, how can we go shopping without going shopping? How can we go shopping in a way that we're being offered the best prices, the best inventory, the quickest delivery? Simple problem, simple solution. I'm going to start a website that allows us to sort of connect sellers and buyers together. Crazy idea. So he leaned in on these founders have leaned in on their differences to create simple solutions to simple problems that are different than what other people are trying. Okay. So when we look at our lives, a homework that I want you all to do is write who are you? Number one, who am I? Number two, write 3 words that define you in an authentic setting, an authentic way, authentic self, right? I am different because I don't code switch. I am different because I am sort of, we say, beat your own drum, right? I'm marching to my own drum, my own beat, right? That's number 2. And then number 3, say, how am I going to apply these differences to my problems, my life, and let the world know this is who I am, and then this is my authentic self without trying to conform in different ways. Okay, so I have a question. Is there anything you can do to begin changing your perspectives, to begin seeing opportunities in challenges or differences? So I think that's a great question. So is there anything you can do to begin changing your perspectives, to begin seeing opportunities and challenges or differences? My biggest recommendation for that is that the first thing you should do is work on yourself. And what that means is like, as I said about the reflection challenge, or about the homework I just gave you today, or as I was saying about the popcorn popping in the same heat and the same temperature and the same pot, but we pop differently, or we grow differently. I would say work on yourself. The more you know yourself, the more you're comfortable with your own skin, then the more you will be aware of opportunities that come your way, number one, and you'll have the confidence to accept those opportunities and those challenges. But also then understand that as you are working with people in an office building or in a company or your family, that all of you are different. And so we have a saying, right, in teaching, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Well, that's true, right? There's no such thing as a dumb idea or a dumb question. There's also no such thing as a dumb solution or a dumb conversation. All of those things are important for us to understand other people's perspective, but also our perspective, right? And so I strongly believe that as we grow and as we ask ourselves, what is it that we want in life? What is it that makes us happy? What is it that we want to do as we move from year to year? What's our goal for year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It's defined by me, and I have control of that. And I know what I want, and then my relationships will be stronger. My opportunities will be better. My challenges will be easier to overcome. And then we can then move on to the things that actually make us happy, living in the present, going on vacation with the family, or being financially independent, or work on wealth creation and work on your retirement and being able to give back to your community, right? And so I really think that working on yourself will allow you to see these perspectives in different ways. So with that, we're going to make sure that you do your homework, write who you are, write some words that make you different and that enhance, that you're going to work on to enhance those differences. And then the third thing I want you to write is sort of like, how can you let people know of these differences and incorporate other people's differences into your lives, right? These relationships that you have. And so I urge everybody to work on yourself, dig deep, push hard, and don't try to conform. Be different, be crazy, be fun. If it doesn't work or hasn't worked before, it's probably not going to work again. And then remember that the simplest problems are solved by the simplest solutions that people think are crazy. So with that, go visit me at themorninggoals.com. Remember, there's a 5-day self-reflection challenge that when you go to the website, you can register for. It's free. It's an email challenge that you can work on yourself to enhance your differences, maximize those strengths, and show the world your authentic self. So with that, have a great morning, and I'll see you next time.